Hello, everyone. My name is Ronen Shpirer. I am the director for 5G solutions in Fortinet, and I want to thank you for having the opportunity to talk to you today, and thank you for your time. And what I would like to talk to you about very, very briefly is the changing role of security in 5G. And if you can bring my slides, please. I think that the important thing about 5G, beyond the technology, beyond the business bytes, is really that it enables the potential of change. 5G really does enable change, and it enables that from two perspectives: from the MNO perspective, from the mobile network operator perspective, and from its customers. If from the MNO perspective, it opens a whole new range of capabilities and services that were not possible in previous mobile generations. In previous mobile generations, it was all around providing connectivity and in a very limited set of value-added services, which were mobility, voice, texting, and maybe other, but the value resided somewhere else. So the mobile network operator provided really a connectivity service, a sort of a pipe, and that also by default dictated its place in the value chain and the type of markets that it could generate revenue from. And that was mostly around the consumer market. 5G changes all of that because 5G really lays out the technology and the operational foundations upon which MNOs can build a whole new value chain, can position themselves as providing value that goes way beyond connectivity, and therefore allowing themselves to actually provide services to markets that go beyond the consumer market. Now, with these type of capabilities, these type of potentials, come also risks. And what we need to do, we need to very briefly examine these benefits and possible risks that 5G brings along. And I think that 5G really is, what we need to look in 5G when we talk about benefits and risks is the technology. So the technology really takes and brings mobile operators into the IT environment, into the cloud environment, and that has some great benefits. It has benefits because it allows them to be much more competitive, dynamic, innovative, offer real services that go beyond connectivity. And that allows them to access and provide services and drive growth and revenue from the business market, because the business market wants and needs this type of services that go beyond just 5G connectivity in order to drive initiatives in innovation such as Industry 4.0, smart cities, smart logistics, smart healthcare, and so on and so forth. But that technology also brings risks in the sense that we are now trying to deploy a technology that was relatively unfamiliar to mobile network operators, right? And because moving from a very closed environment, very legacy environment, very monolithic and customized environment, they're moving now to an IT environment, an environment that almost all enterprises are using today, environment which is built on quote unquote internet standards and cloud standards. Okay? So there is this risk of deploying something that I'm not really that familiar with. I don't have all the experience with, and maybe I might do something a bit wrong that would have, implications, negative implications. The other thing is that if I can now provide these type of value-added services and address my business customers, then if they are to rely on these services, capabilities in a critical way, as a foundation way to the way that they do their business, operate their business, create new services, new products, then I cannot allow myself, and my customers will not accept, a solution and a service that is not 100% secure. And if you take these two factors, then suddenly 5G becomes a very attractive target for cyber threat actors, because suddenly they understand this environment. Hey, it's cloud, it's IP, it's standard protocols. And now it becomes a very critical environment for the enterprise. So I can either maybe attack the MNO to gain whatever I want to gain, or through that 5G infrastructure or services, I can actually have access to that enterprise and do what I plan to do. So security is much more important in 5G than previous mobile generations. There's no question about it. Now, you might ask yourself, well, that's fine. I understand that. But then we also know that the different standard organizations, mostly 3GPP and ETSI, have also understood that. And when they started to develop and design 5G, there was a lot of thought going into how do I secure that environment. And in fact, 5G is significantly more secure than any previous mobile generation. But is it enough? Well, we think that it's not enough. But what we did is, in order to make sure that we are not living in a dream, we actually went out and we asked Telecom TV, with association with ETSI, to go out and ask industry players, mobile network operators, equipment vendors, consultants, integrators, what they think about the role of security in actually enabling the success of 5G in the business market. And we did it earlier this year. So let me share some interesting, I think, but well expected, at least from our perspective, results. The first thing is that, really MNOs strongly believe that the business market and the services that will capture that business market are essential to the success of 5G. So there is a lot of emphasis that has to go into, okay, what are the use cases? What are the businesses that I, as an operator, need to invest in order to capture that market? The other thing is that, of course, security now becomes a very important factor. And there is this growing recognition from mobile network operators and other stakeholders that security, you cannot really be successful in the business market without the possibility to deliver and ensure security in your services and in your use cases. Almost 90% of responders have agreed that it's critical or very important that security becomes part of a successful 5G services in different verticals, in different industries. So we've got this understanding, but then we ask the question, well, then is the security mechanisms that were put in by 3GPP within the 5G standards and releases, are there enough? And the overwhelming response is no, they're not enough. So they serve as a baseline. They are very, very important. You need to implement them, but they're not enough in order to win the business market, right? It's only a baseline. And then another information is there is the security as there is the security operation. There is this understanding in the market that not only the security itself for 5G has to change previously to what we've known and thought about in previous mobile generation, but also the way that we operate that security, our visibility, our ability to understand what is happening. So to conclude with that, 5G does enable the potential of change, but it's only the potential. And it is very important that the potential becomes reality. And the only way that can really becomes a reality, can only become a reality in the business market, and therefore drive the growth and success of mobile network operators, if it is secured, as we've just shown, a strong understanding and belief that this has to be the case. But again, this is potential. So in order to make the potential real, we have to take actions to make it happen. So we need to think about security in 5G, not as a cost, not as a necessary evil, not as an afterthought, not as a type of different solutions that I plug here and there because I have to, but as an enabler, something that will make me more competitive, something that will provide me more trust with my customers, enable me to drive more use cases, enable me to generate more revenue, and enable me to actually have better chances of making the potential of 5G a reality. Thank you very much.